Okay, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have it's an exciting video for me. Excuse me, I need to compose myself. It's an exciting video for me, but also a little bit shameful. So I'm gonna do a swatch party today. My eyes are watering so much because I'm laughing internally. Okay. Oh my god, Laura, what is wrong with you? Okay, so what happened? So remember when I talked about before how I bought 4 palettes from Beige, and I was like, these are the palettes that I'm most interested in. They were on sale for like 40% off, and I was like, these are what I want. This is what I'm gonna get. And like I legitimately felt happy and satisfied with that decision and the purchases that I had made. I swatched them. They look absolutely beautiful. Personally, I hear nothing but amazing fucking things about BH, especially their like current new eyeshadow formula. So I was really excited to use them. Long story short, one day I was looking through my email. I saw that they had sent me an email that said major sale or whatever. BH sends out a lot of emails anyway, and so I looked and it was like basically all of their palettes were like 70% off, and they were like $5 each. And so this happened. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm proud of it, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that the joy that this brings me, like the joy that this brings me is almost unparalleled. Like I love makeup, I love using it, and I love collecting it. People have a lot of opinions about collecting makeup. I really feel like for me and how I feel satisfied and using my makeup and look at me being so defensive, but basically I feel like I've really hit a sweet spot in my collection where I feel happy just looking, swatching, having a collection of makeup, and I also feel like I use most of my makeup. Like there are few palettes, few pieces of makeup that I own that I don't feel like I use or have gotten enough use out of. Obviously it happens. I mean, I have generally, especially eyeshadow, a pretty large collection, but these palettes are so collectible that I just could not resist. And the shadows, at least, thank God, I haven't used any on my eyes yet, but they swatch beautifully, like truly beautifully. And which is why when I saw that like all of these were $5, I was like, I can't not do it. So I thought, let's chill. We're all friends, you know, we're not gonna judge each other, okay? And let's swatch these palettes, let's have a good time, because when my girlfriend saw these, she was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, you don't understand, but I know that my friends online will. And let's love on some eyeshadow together. I'm home alone. I have a seltzer to sip on, and let's just be happy and swatch some eyeshadow, okay? There's a lot going on in the world right now, and this is what I do to relax and be calm, so I hope that I can bring some of that to anyone who watches this as well. So obviously there's a lot of palettes to swatch here. I don't know for that reason if I'm going to be able to do up close swatches of all of these. In an ideal world, I would, but I feel like that might make this video 12,000 hours long. But I will do some live arm swatches. Hopefully that will be sufficient and we can all ooh and ah over them together. If I decide to go wild and crazy and do individual swatches of these palettes, then obviously you'll know because you'll see them. Okay, so maybe let's zoom in a little bit more. Sometimes if I zoom in too much, my things go out of focus, so I'm trying to find a balance. Let's just start. Okay, let's start with the brunch palettes. I guess they have like their little collection of 3 brunch palettes. You've already seen that I bought the avocado toast and blueberry muffin palettes, but I also got the Mimosa palette as well. I love the tones of this. I initially was like, I'm not gonna buy it because I already have so many pink and peach tones, but I couldn't resist. Okay, so I haven't done like full swatches of this palette. I've only like done very like slight delicate swatches, and I didn't want to mess it up. But let's start with the blueberry muffin. So this was the first time, as I meant to say, that I've done like full swatches of this palette. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It's a beautiful half neutral, half blue, cool toned, delicious palette. Okay, let's start off with the shade Sweet, which is a champagne metallic shade. Look at how bright that is. Oh my goodness. Then we have the shade Cheat Day, which is basically like a periwinkle. Look at how these swatch. Oh my god. I am in heaven. That's so pretty. And then we have the shade Crumble, which is kind of like a taupe metallic. Oh my. I feel justified. I'm not gonna lie. I feel justified in my purchase already. Then we have the shade Decadent, which looks to be like a really deep purple. Yeah, it's basically a dark purple. I thought it was a dark brown in the pan, but it's a dark plum. Oh, that's so nice. Then we have the shade Sugared, which looks a little bit more flaky. Oh, is that duochrome? I keep doing this. No, oh my god. I really need to stop. It got mixed with the blue. Okay, hold on. So I thought it was like a light blue duochrome. It's not. Ignore this swatch that I just did. It's just a light, like white sparkly shade, basically. Oh god. Okay. Then we have the shade Cravings, which is another metallic shade. Ooh, that's like a really bright, almost pinky toned champagne. That is so, look at these shimmers. Oh my god. Then we have another matte. This is the shade Treat, which is a light gray. Really nice. They feel so nice, these mattes. Then we have the shade 350 Degrees, which is a like mid-toned warm brown. And then we have the shade So Good, which is a darker matte blue. Then we have the shade Tempting, which is a metallic blue with a dark base. It's really so shiny though. Look at that. Ooh. The shade Yummy, which is another metallic shade. It's like a duochrome with, it has like a warm base with a cool toned like periwinkle purpley shift. And then we have the shade Baker's Dozen. This looks like a matte with glitter, a matte black with like blue and purple glitter, but to me this is basically just a matte black. We have the shade Hot and Fresh, which is a really bright silver metallic shade. The shade Delish, which is another matte light blue. It's like a sky blue. The shade Fluffy, which is a matte peach, which it's like a little pop of warmth to this palette. And then lastly, we have the shade Stud Muffin, which is another metallic dark blue that has a black base. It's like a really dark navy with a black base. not quite as intensely shiny as Tempting, which is super pretty. Okay, and so this is the first palette. This is the Blueberry Muffin palette, all swatched. Minus this one shade that was a mistake, but a really beautiful half blue, half neutral palette. And all of these, like, I'm pretty unbiased and I've spent a lot of my money on these palettes that I have not yet used. But like, if you want to know, because I feel like a lot of people rave about BH, but they're actually good. Like, just based on like swatching, they feel worth the hype to me, and I haven't even put them on my eyes yet. All right, so now we have the next palette. Let's do Avocado Toast. This is a beautiful, again, half colorful, half neutral palette. This time it's half green, half neutral. Oh, these shades look so amazing. Okay, this is the shade Avocado, which is a champagne shade, but again looks super bright. The shade Pink Salt, which is a light pink, a light peachy pink, matte. Expensive is a shimmer. It's pretty smooth, not super sparkly, but really smooth and reflective. It's a like warm toned, like pinky toned bronze. Then we have Spicy, which is so pretty in the pan. It's a really deep metallic bronze with like a green hue to it. That's really beautiful. And then we have Lemon Pepper, which doesn't look as shiny as some of these other shades. It's kind of a duochrome. It has like an orange, a light orange base to it with a like light limey green shift. It's really pretty, but definitely not as shiny as some of the others. Then we have the shade Avo Toast, which is, as you may imagine, a matte avocado green. Not the best swatch, but that's okay. And we have the shade Ripe, which is like more of a blue-based green matte, pretty mid-tone. We have the shade Hass, I think, Hass, which is a beautiful olive metallic. Look at the shine on that. That's so nice. Is that a type of avocado? I don't actually know what that means. Then we have the shade Over Easy, which is it's like a pastel mustard, I want to say. That's like the immediate shade description that comes to mind. Then we have the shade Superfood, which is an olive green. One of my favorite shades of eyeshadow to use. The shade Paprika, which is not the shade of paprika, or at least not what we use, but it's a warm toned brown. Almost has like a slight, it's like an orangey warm toned brown, yeah. Then we have the shade Pit, which is a deeper warm toned brown. Not the best swatch, but you can see the color, I think. And then we have, let me really make sure my fingers are clean, the shade Green Juice, which is a almost like minty toned metallic green. That's really pretty. The shade Guac, which is like a matte tealy green. The shade Extra, which looks really beautiful in the pan. It's a deeper metallic green. Ooh, that's super pretty. Almost looks like it has a slight warmer base to it. And then we have the shade Holy Moly, which is a matte black. And I'm never gonna complain about a matte black in a palette. Look at that beautiful, ooh, these shades look so nice. I'm so excited, oh my god. I was feeling sad because my girlfriend left today, so I'm home alone, but like, she left to go visit her parents. She's not, like, she didn't leave me. But I'm home alone for a few days, so this is making me feel very happy. Okay, palette numero 3, Mimosa. So yeah, this is probably the one that, like, I do not need any more pink shades, but I cannot resist them. It's a very bright mid-toned palette. There's no deep shades in here, which I feel like is a severely missed opportunity. Imagine this palette, I'm not even showing you. Imagine this palette with a dark, like, cranberry and a, oh, can you imagine? Okay, I digress though. First, we have the shade Sunny. I've got some sparkles on my arm, but I think it's probably gonna be there for the entire video, so. Which is just a matte yellow shade. Then we have the shade Vibes, which is a really nice, like, almost pastel-y, like, peachy shade, peachy coral. Then we have the shade Pop, which feels so delicious. Look at that. That's one swipe. A beautiful duochrome that is like a pink with a really beautiful gold shift, and it's really shiny. Oh my god. Then we have the shade Pomegranate, which is kind of like a muted raspberry matte. The shade Chilled is a matte white. I don't love matte whites, but it's in here. We have the shade Champagne, which is a metallic orange toned, like, gold. Beautiful. All of the metallics in here look so nice. We have the shade OJ, which is a really nice, like, light matte orange. Look at that color. I love it. The shade Happy Hour, which is a mid-toned brown, like an orange-toned brown. The shade Cheers, this maybe doesn't look amazing. It's a metallic that's not super shiny. I really like the tone though. It's like a coral with almost like a gold shine to it, but it's not, it's like a peach, like a peachy coral with a gold shine, but definitely not super, nowhere near as shiny as the other two metallics that I've already swatched. The shade Bottomless, which is a light matte pink. I've never actually been to a bottomless mimosa brunch, and I feel like that's everything that I could ever want, but I feel like I don't know anywhere that does it. Have you ever been to a bottomless mimosa brunch, and was it amazing? This is the shade Guava, which is like a matte coral. The shade Raspberry, which is a raspberry shade. In a horrible swatch. Then we have the shade Bubbly, which is another really textured shade. A beautiful, did I do the same thing? No, it has a pink tone to it. It's like a pinky tone champagne shade with a really beautiful gold shine. The shade We Heart Brunch, which is, it's a beige, so I don't love that. It's a very light brown. Then the shade Fizzy, which is, what is this shade? It's another like peachy corally. This more, it's like a pink. This one is definitely more peachy. This is a pink with a gold shine to it. Again, not super textured and sparkly like some of the other shimmers that I've swatched. And then we have the shade Saluti, which is a cool toned pink. Really nice, cool toned pink matte. So definitely gives like very spring and summer vibes in terms of like color story. If you like mid-toned shades, you'd probably like this. I would never use this alone, but they swatch really nicely. I do like the tones in here, and some of the shimmers in this palette look absolutely magnificent. All right, now we might have to get into some Googling here. So now this is the Travel Series palettes. How many actually are there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. There's 9. I have, or at least I have 9. Maybe I'm missing one, I'm not entirely sure. But let's just start. So this is the Amalfi palette, the Amore in Amalfi. Even though that's not even Italian. Okay, but so this is obviously a neutral. A very neutral palette, but I like neutrals too, that's fine. I really like the packaging on these as well. I think they're very like fun and well done. Much prefer this packaging to the old packaging. I've heard that this specific palette used to be like something Chicago, something related to Chicago. I am not sure about that, but right now it's Amore and Amalfi. Okay, let me try to see if I can Google these. Okay, so realistically, I can't look up how every single shade is pronounced in all of these palettes. So if I butcher someone's language or I butcher the name of something, I really apologize, but I cannot. That would take a lot of time. Okay, so Mattifying is the first shade. This is a yellow toned matte brown. I love it. The shade Atrani, okay, I'm not gonna do that, is a beautiful shiny bronze, and the shade Villa Ruffalo is a mid-toned neutral matte brown. Then we have the shade Maori, which is a darker matte brown. I'm really happy that this is in here. The shade Salerno, which is a matte peach. The shade Priano looks like a really sparkly shade, and it is. It's a beautiful textured, like rose gold bronze, rosy bronze. Ooh! Then we have the shade La Dolce Vita, which is another matte brown. It's like a warm-toned, mid-toned brown. The shade Ravello, which is a mauve. The shade Positano is a warm-toned gold. Ooh, that's really nice. Almost just like a duochrome with like a peachy, orangey base with a gold shift. Then we have the shade Sorrento, which is a beautiful orange metallic shade. Again, almost a duochrome. It has like a really beautiful like dark corally base with a orange shift. That's really pretty. The shade Narano is a light matte peach. The shade Ciao Bella is an orange. Matte orange. Then we have the shade Sitara is a gold, a light gold. The shade Capri is a bronze, like an orangey bronze. The shade Amalfitana is a mustard. Look at that. I love a matte mustard. Ooh, yes. And then Lastly, there is the shade Grotto, which is a pretty traditional gold. I think this is a really beautiful neutral palette. I like that my camera cut me off, but I was saying that this is a neutral palette that has different tones of brown. You have like neutral, pinky leaning, orange, yellow tones, like that I actually really do appreciate. The back of this says, "Live la dolce vita with Amor and Amalfi, a breathtaking vegan array of silky smooth mattes and lustrous shimmers in bronze and gold hues, rich browns, and pops of pink. Each shade offers high impact payoff and buildable intensity that will stay put through crystal blue beaches and charming cliffside villas." Delicious. I don't know if they're necessarily, I don't think they're trying to like emulate the place with the color story. I think they're just like trying to have a theme with names. But okay, so next palette is the Beautiful in Barcelona palette, which is really kind of makes me happy because my girlfriend and I went to Spain and Portugal on a trip together after we graduated from our undergrad, and we went to Barcelona, and all of these names sound familiar in places that we've been, so I guess that that's also kind of the fun of this. Or if you were from one of these places, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't like it, but maybe you would. If they did a Montreal palette, I would love that. Probably not, but you can dream. Okay, so this is a really beautiful, again, half neutral, half, this is more like a neutral palette with pops of blue. So we have La Rambla, which is a light ivory, don't love that, light beige. The shade La Boqueria, I don't know, is a really beautiful like mauvey shimmer. The shade Casa Mila is a cool toned matte brown. Almost has like a bit of purple to it even. It's like a dusty mauvey shade. Then we have the shade Barceloneta, which honestly is more of a satin, but it's a really dark, satiny, metallic plum. Like a blackened plum. It's really creamy though. The shade La Monumental is a peachy champagne-y shade. And the shade Gaudi. I know he's a architect or artist, I think. A late artist. Is a metallic navy blue. Not super shiny, but I've definitely seen and felt worse. Then we have the shade Agbar Tower, which is, ooh, I love this. It's like a dark, like reddy bronze. And we have the shade Plaza Real is a mid-toned warm brown. And then the shade Montserrat, excuse me, you're trying to pronounce things, is a really pretty orangey peachy shimmer. I mean, this, I've probably swatched this shade like at least twice already, but it's really pretty. It's like an orange base with a gold shift. The shade Casa Batlo. That I feel like I'm pronouncing wrong. That's a beautiful, super bright champagne. Ooh. The shade Catalonia is a like plummy toned brown that's really beautiful. The shade, hold on, Tibidabo is another cool toned matte brown. This is less mauvey than the one I swatched initially. The shade Miro is another like really dark, like satiny shimmer shade, which is, this is like a really dark, cool toned brown. I love that. The shade Sagrada Familia, which I have been to, didn't go inside, but I've seen the outside, is a, ooh, it feels really smooth and pigmented, but it's a matte with a lot of blue shimmer in it. And then the shade Picasso is another navy metallic shade, but almost has more of like a purpley tone to it, whereas Gaudi is a little bit brighter. And then the last shade is the shade Park Güell, which I have been to as well. It's kind of fun, and it's a mid-toned matte blue. I really love the color story of this palette. I think it's really smart. And for a like a neutral palette with pops of blue, but you actually have a good amount of blue. There's these really beautiful dark metallics. You have some orangey shades. Like, I don't know. I like the color stories of these palettes as well. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I like it. I'm actually drinking a seltzer. What does this one say? Feel the fiesta with beautiful in Barcelona. This coastal chic mix offers velvety mattes and glistening shimmers in warm neutrals, smoky hues, and deep blues. Each vegan shade provides intense color payoff, so you can dazzle from siesta to sangria with long-lasting wear. I don't know why I get such a kick out of those descriptions. Next, we have Party in Puerto Rico, which is a beautiful, bright, warm-toned color story. Some of these shimmers look absolutely delectable. Okay, so we have, these are going to be difficult for me, really difficult for me to pronounce. I'm so sorry. El Unque? Oh, that's bad. Laura, that's not a good pronunciation. Okay, this I'll look up. Oh, El Yunk. That's what Google told me. El Yunk is a peachy, light, very light matte peach. The shade Culebrita is a really bright matte orange. Look at that. That's such a beautiful shade. The shade San Juan is a like bronzy gold metallic. Look at how shiny. Ooh. The shade Castillo is a warm tone, like a red. It's like a muted red. The shade Culebra is a beautiful bright matte orange. So nice. The shade Cayo y Cacos, I'm sorry, is another matte orange, like a little bit of a deeper tone. Let me look that up too. I just feel so bad when I don't know how to pronounce things.
Cayo y Cacos.
Cayo y Cacos. Then we have the shade Rincon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right as well. Is a beautiful metallic orange. Look at that. Ooh, nice. The shade Laguna Grande is a like taupe, which is an interesting inclusion. And then we have the shade Cueva Ventana, which is, I'm so excited to use this shade. Look at that beautiful, dirty bronze. Oh, so nice. And it doesn't look like it's going to be very shiny in the pan, but it has quite a good sheen to it. The shade Condado is a matte yellow, but it's a little bit deeper than the one that I swatched in the Mimosa palette. The shade El Moro is a metallic fiery orange. Look at that. Ooh, the shade, ooh, I do not know how to say this. Hold on, hold.
Viekes.
Viekes, says Google. Viekes. It's a fuchsia metallic, not super shiny, but very bright. The shade Isla Verde is a beautiful raspberry matte. The shade Flamenco is a light matte pink. The shade Coqui, oh, I don't know. Some of these I just like don't even know where to begin. Coqui. Which is a beautiful coral metallic. Look at that, how bright that is. And then last we have La Fortaleza. Is a beautiful dark metallic taupe. Oh, this color story. Oh my god. I'm getting so excited, but I feel like it's not just like a bright mid-toned orange palette. I mean, I would like a darker matte, don't get me wrong, but you have pinks, you have oranges, you have also some cool tones. Like I'm a fan. Thank God I'm a fan. Holy shit. If I wasn't a fan, that would make me look super dumb. This palette says, live your best life with Party in Puerto Rico. This vegan array of vibrant oranges and pinks, plus smoky hits with intense pigment payoff can keep up with beach and rainforest hopping, wild nightlife, and everything in between. Okay, I really have to pee, but I'm going to keep on going. Then we have Smitten in Switzerland. This is one that I've lusted after for a long time, actually, like before Beige was even really on my radar. Before it was repackaged, before I wanted to collect them all like Pokemon, I was really interested in this palette. So it's a muted, colorful palette, I want to say. There's some mauvey tones, there's some green tones, there's a blue in here, there's an orange, like it's a muted, like almost neutral, colorful palette. Then so first shade we have is a matte beige, unfortunately an ivory like matte, which is called Alpine. Then we have the shade Oh Lausanne. Okay, so we gotta go back to my pronunciation website here. Lausanne. Then we have the shade Alforn, which is another beige. So we got three beiges. One's a true beige, one's an ivory beige, one's a peachy beige. So already not loving that. Next we have the shade Basil. Okay, my battery died while I was swatching the shade Basil, but this is it swatched out. Let me build it up maybe. Which is a beautiful like grayed out green matte. Ooh, that's nice. And we have the shade Lucerne, which is another iteration of mauve. It's like almost a lilac, a light purpley shade. Then we have the shade Yodel, which is a darker mauve, like a light plum matte. Now we have the first shimmer of the palette. It's Zurich, and this palette has some really beautiful shimmers. Look at that. Again, it's like a duochrome. It has like a warm plum base with a blue almost shift, like a blue purple shift. Ooh, that's nice. The shade Geneva is a really unique shade. I don't even know how to describe that. It has like almost like a cool toned purple base with a warm peachy shift. That's really pretty. And then we have the shade Alps, which is a like gunmetal-y deeper silver. Silvery taupe. Really pretty. The shade Summit is next, which is another metallic navy. Although this is quite shiny and almost has like a purple shift to it. It's kind of like a blurple-y shade, like a purple blue shifting metallic. Really nice. The shade Bern is a metallic olive green. Look at that. Super beautiful. The shade Mount Pilatus is a gray. Feels really creamy. It's really pretty. We have the shade Matterhorn. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I did not look this one up, but it's like a marigold. It's like really beautiful marigold shade. Right? Is that what I'm thinking of? I think so. Then we have the shade Chapel Bridge, which is a cool toned brown. The shade Jungfrau, I did have to look this up. It's a mossy green. And then last shade in the palette is Goddard Tunnel, which is a matte black. Very nice. Like I said, it's like muted, colorful almost. And the shimmers in here are deceivingly pretty. Like they don't look as like they don't look super textured or like quite initially as like amazing in the pan, but when you swatch them, the tones and the shifts, they're all really, really beautiful. And like 1, 2, 3 of them are duochrome, so really pretty. The back of this says, take in the allure of the quaint Swiss countryside and create fresh alpine looks with Smitten in Switzerland. This pigment-rich vegan array ranges from lush greens and azure blues to velvety mattes in violet and neutral tones that last through every season. I'm having too much fun. All right, party people, next palette is the Summer in St Tropez. This is another one that I have been intrigued by this color story for a while. Again, before it was like repackaged and before, you know, they had all these, before it was like repackaged and like basically when it came out, I really like the color story and the, oh my god, the shimmers in here look next level. I'm so excited to just finally swatch this. So the first shade we have is the shade Point Capon. Okay. I should be better at French than I am. Then we have the shade Muria, which is so the first shade is like a beige. It's a beige. And then we have another like marigold, like orangey yellow shade. Then the shade Côte d'Azur looks, oh, so, look at that. Oh my god. It's like a warm base with a beautiful like greeny lime gold shift. Oh, that is so pretty. And really sparkly and super nice. Then we have the shade Camerat, which is another duochrome. Super pretty. Another like warm toned like pink base with a green shift. Super pretty. The shade Annonciade is a light metallic like pink. Super shiny. The shade Citadel is a purple matte. Doesn't swatch amazingly. That's okay. Chateau Borelli is a pinky toned like bronze. Again, I feel like we've swatched similar shades. The shade Bagatelle is a cool toned metallic like fuchsia. A purpley toned pink. The shade Nikki Beach is a gold, metallic gold. Really creamy, really shiny. The shade Viewport is a light peachy pink. The shade Plage Tahiti is a, whoa, look at that, a bright matte like aqua blue. And the shade La Ponche is a dusty blue matte. The shade Pampelone, I couldn't get the pronunciation of this. It's a light yellow. The shade Portelette is a, Portelay maybe? I didn't look this one up either. Is a like cranberry. And then the shade Porc Rimmel is a matte red. Matte orangey toned red. And then the last shade in the palette is Place des Lys. I don't know how to say that at all. Is a raspberry matte. The shimmers in here are so pretty. It's a very bright, colorful palette for sure. Let's see, what does the back of this one say? Capture the spirit of colorful beachside cabanas with summer in St Tropez, featuring a rainbow of vegan, extra long-lasting hues and lush matte and glimmering shimmer finishes. Whether you prefer bright pink, turquoise blue, or a wash of gold, infinite eye looks await for the pool deck and beyond. Alright, so this is one that I probably wouldn't have bought trendy in Tokyo if it wasn't on sale and if I didn't want to complete this set. But just because it's a rainbow palette, but I have it, so let's swatch it. So first we have the shade Cherry Blossom, which is a light matte pink. The shade Nigiri is a light, almost like pastel-y orange. Really nice actually. The shade Shibuya is a like aqua, like turquoisey bluey green shade. A turquoise, one could say. Not super shiny. I feel like the shimmers in this palette look less shiny and like sparkly and metallic as pretty much all of the other palettes, I'm not gonna lie. Then we have the shade Ginza, which is it's a matte turquoise shade. The mattes look really nice though. Or honestly, this is just like a matte, like sky blue, but it swatched really nice for how light of a shade it is. Then we have the shade Ueno Park. Ueno? I looked it up, but it's not perfect. It's a really, actually, this is shinier than I thought. Metallic pink. I really like that. It's like a bubblegum pink. The shade Tokyo Tower. I'd actually love to visit Japan. It's a beautiful matte red. The shade Imperial Palace is a green. It's like a grassy green. The shade Bullet Train. is a navy blue. There's a lot of navy blue shimmers in this palette series. Not quite as shiny as some of the other ones. This almost, the shimmer formula feels a little bit different in this palette. Then we have the shade Harajuku, which is a bubblegum matte pink. Love a pink, love a good pink. The shade Kabuki is a peachy orange. I do love the mattes in here though. They look really nice. The shade Rainbow Bridge is a lime, which I actually don't have a ton of limes, but again, not super shiny. The shade, oh, I didn't look this up either. Roppongi? Roppongi is a metallic purple, although honestly this looks more like a satin. Yeah, this is not the best. And they can't get away with this doing poor Tokyo dirty, because we've seen from the other palettes they can do good shimmers. Then we have the shade Mount Fuji. This is really pretty. It's a raspberry metallic. The shade Shrine is a matte yellow. The shade Neon is not a neon, but it's like a pastel yellow. It's like a very white-based yellow. And then lastly, we have the shade Tokyo Station, which is a really beautiful, like, grapey purple matte. So this is the trendy in Tokyo palette, obviously a rainbow palette, a very bright palette. There's some, like this pink metallic looks really nice. The mattes actually swatch beautifully. And I really like a lot of the tones. I could see reaching for this palette to use as a companion palette with a lot of other palettes for sure. But again, I probably wouldn't use this alone. And a lot of the shimmers don't look quite as nice as the shimmers in the other palettes, or at least the ones that I've swatched so far. The back of this one says, embrace the electric vibes of Japan's capital city with trendy in Tokyo. The striking kaleidoscope of smooth mattes and lustrous shimmers and bright vegan hues will keep you going 24/7 with a neon-lit metropolis. All right, next palette we have Hawaii. Hanging in Hawaii. This doesn't feel Hawaii, the like bright, and like how they've pinkified both of the pictures on here. It feels weird because it doesn't seem like they did that with any other of these palettes, but this is obviously like a pinky leaning neutral palette. Again, realistically one that I probably just picked up to complete the collection, but I've been really into neutrals recently and I'll use it. Like there's definitely no doubt that I'll use it. I just have probably a lot of similar shades. First, we have the shade Hula, which is a really bright champagne metallic. Then we have the shade Shaka, which is a neutral. Oh, it looks more neutral in the pan. It almost has a bit more orange to it. Oh, I guess it's more neutral. It's a neutral. It's not super orange. A neutral light brown. The shade Hibiscus is a peachy matte. The shade Luau actually looks beautiful. Ooh. Look at this. It's like a orangey base with a pink shift. That is so nice. That's so nice. The shade Ohana is a light matte pink. The shade Pineapple. Ooh, that feels super creamy. Ooh, that's bright. That's super bright. A beautiful bright metallic champagne. That's so nice. The shade Lay is a like salmon-y, almost toned matte, mid-toned matte. The shade Aloha, my candle is fucking burning aggressively, is a warm-toned matte brown. Then the shade Tiki is a neutral mid-toned matte brown. Let's build that up a little bit. The shade Sandy is another champagne-y, it's like a light champagne-y gold. Again, really metallic though. The shade Coconut is a mid-toned neutral brown. That's really nice. Shade Paradise is a matte light pink. Well, maybe it's like a mid-toned rosy pink. The shade Maui is another, maybe it's a little bit more of a cool toned brown. The shade Waikiki is a beautiful bronze, super reflective. The shade Mahalo is a little bit, it's a little bit of a deeper brown, pretty neutral. And then the last shade is the shade Honolulu. This is the deepest shade in the palette. It's like a plummy toned matte. I actually quite like that a lot. I like that they did include at least one darker shade. This palette is quite light and neutral. It's pretty neutral. This and the Tokyo palette are probably the two palettes that I wouldn't have picked up if it wasn't on sale and it wasn't like a collection of palettes. I mean, I'm sure, well, I know, I am going to use it and I'm sure I will love it, but again, not like my top choice, these two palettes. Really pretty though. If this is like a color story that you're like super passionate about, if you're a neutral lover and you don't wear super dark eyeshadow, I actually think this looks really, really nice. Says, if you like pina coladas and a beachy beat, say aloha to tropical paradise with our hangin' in Hawaii 16 color shadow palette. This lush vegan mix of sandy and toasted coconut tones with pops of pigmented melon and spice offers endless, radiant, and long-lasting looks for day and night. There you go. You heard it here first. Okay, we're on the last two palettes. If you're still here, I applaud you. We have Lost in Los Angeles. This is also, these next two are the ones that I picked up in my initial 4 palettes that I bought from BH. This is realistically one that I would only use as a companion palette, just because it's like quite light, but the shimmers in here look really, really nice. And if the mattes are gonna swatch like all the rest of the mattes have, I'm looking forward to using this. All right, let's do the swatches. Okay, so first we have the shade Malibu, which really is quite a nice shade. Not super like sparkly or intensely shiny, but it's a really pretty, excuse me, duochrome that is like peachy pink with a gold. The shade Runyon Canyon is a light neutral brown. Maybe has a little bit of warmth to it. The shade LAX is a matte light blue, swatched very nicely. The shade 90210 is a like lilac or purpley toned light pink. The shade, the 405 is a light peach. Very nice so far. The shade Melrose is a beautiful purple metallic shade. Like a very nice lavender. Lilac maybe. What's the difference between lavender and lilac? Lilac's more pinky toned. Then we have the shade Weho, W-E-H-O. Weho? Weho doesn't sound right. Weho? It's a light peach. The shade Rodeo Drive is a beautiful olive metallic green. Look at that. Delicious. The shade Rush Hour is a silvery metallic blue. Really pretty. Look at that. The shade Abbott Kinney is, okay, so this is a lilac. A matte lilac. The shade Starstruck is a amazing Disney Channel original movie, and also a gold in this palette. I was obsessed with Starstruck. I love it, and I still do love it. I loved it, and I still do love it. We have the shade Sunset Boulevard. The seltzer's kicking in, friends, which is a beautiful, I feel like this is not the first time that we've seen this in this swatching video, this type of shade. It's still super beautiful. Pink with a gold shift. Ooh, that's nice. The shade The Abbey is a matte white. I don't really care about that. Blech. The shade Dreamer is a really nice light matte green. It's like a sea foamy light green. Ooh, that's a nice shade. The shade The Hills is a light silvery pink. And also a great early 2000s reality, quote unquote, TV show. I love it. Then we have the shade City of Angels, which is a beautiful, ooh, that's like a blue to purple duochrome. Ooh, that's really nice. So obviously very light, but the shimmers in this are very nice. Very, very pretty. And I think for me, how I would use this is definitely as a companion palette, but really beautiful nonetheless. What does the back of this one say? You've got stars in your eyes, babe. Stun all the way from bougie Beverly Hills to the Hollywood Walk of Fame with show-stopping looks from our Lost in Los Angeles 16-color shadow palette. Create best coast vibes with each stroke of this pretty and pastel array of lustrous shimmers and silky smooth mattes. Each vegan hue is inspired by selfie-centric street art and graffiti walls around the sprawling city of angels and influencers. Okay, this is probably, I've saved the best palette for last. Passion in Paris. I am so excited to use this and swatch it. Look at this. Oh my god. Look at this purple and blue and burgundy, delicious color story. Okay, so last palette, let's go. Champs-Élysées is the first shade. A pinky tone beige. The shade Louvre is an icy white metallic shade. Ooh, super bright. Look at that. Nice. And then we have the shade City of Light, which is an icy, like a gunmetal-y blue. Really shiny. The shade Montmartre. I apologize. I'm trying to be better at my French. Is a navy matte blue. Love the depth. The shade Notre Dame. There's a town in the province, Manitoba, that I grew up in, and everyone called it Notre Dame. Called Notre Dame. So every time I see that, I just want to say Notre Dame. The shade Sacré Coeur is a Ooh, that's a really pretty lavender. Honestly, I don't know that I have a shade like this in my collection. I probably do, but I feel like I don't. The shade Tuileries. Tuileries. Oh boy, okay, I have to look this up because I don't know how to say it. Oh, it was right. Tuileries. No. Tuileries. Okay. Tuileries. I'm one seltzer in, so my tolerance is not great, but it's a navy blue. That's less purpley toned than Montmartre was. The shade Versailles is a black based, really sparkly dark blue. Oh, that's so pretty. That's so textured. And the camera cut out as I was swatching that, but look at this. Arc de Triomphe. Let me build it up a little bit. It's a lavender with a gold shift. Ooh, that's nice. The shade Seine is a cool toned blue, like a periwinkle, basically. The shade Pantheon is a blue based shadow with a purple shift. Musée d'Orsay is a matte black. The shade Grand Palais is a like plum matte shade. The shade Eiffel Tower is a like champagne, really shiny. The shade Pompidou. I've given up on the pronunciations. Is a cranberry. And the shade Moulin Rouge is a metallic cranberry. Look at that, really beautiful. Not quite as sparkly and shiny, but really creamy and pretty. And that, look at that, that's a beautiful color story. You can't deny. All right, I guess we gotta read the back of this too. It says, fall in love with passion in Paris, a high fashion vegan mix of romantic deep berries and cool toned hues with powerful payoff. Light up every look in your itinerary with twinkling shimmer and buttery matte finishes that will stay put from your morning croissant to your evening glass of wine. Okay, so my camera has told me that it's been enough swatching. So I'm gonna listen to it. I am so pleasantly, well, not really surprised, but like I feel like everything that everyone has said is true about these palettes. Just keep in mind I've only swatched them. You have seen what I've seen, but I feel like the color stories are really nice, maybe lacking a little bit of depth in my opinion. There's some depth in some of these palettes, but a good number of them are like pretty mid-toned. And the shimmers look beautiful and the mattes swatch really nicely. I'm really happy with these. I'm actually glad that I ended up buying them. I know like it's definitely gonna be, you know, that's a personal thing. A lot of people are not into that, and that's cool. Hopefully this was relaxing and or helpful if you wanted to see one of these palettes swatched out, or you wanted to see how the shadows performed in one of these or whatever. It was really fun. You spent my Saturday night with me and I had a great time. So thank you for that. I also do want to mention this was on sale for like $2 or something. And I love a blush palette. This is the Flower Power 4 color blush palette. It's definitely pretty light. But I used this shade and it was quite light, so I don't even know how that would look by itself. But I mean, I've used it once. It worked like I expected. I also, let me get it because I feel like this, okay, oh my god, my camera is being so annoying. My camera is being so annoying. Anyway, as I was saying, I also picked up this Flower Power 16 color shadow palette, but okay, I saw this online and I was like, oh, it was on sale for like $3. I was like, sure, add to cart. And I actually had looked at this before when I was browsing Beige's website like at a different time. This is very much like you order something off of Amazon, but you don't check the description, like the dimensions in the description, and it comes and it's like, what is this? I like the color story, but this, I can't, it looks like legit Claire's makeup. And the shimmer actually looks super nice. Maybe I should keep this. Maybe I should keep this, but look how small these pans are. Like, I don't even know if I could do a swatch of this. So honestly, and it was like $3. I think I'm just gonna give this to my stepsister. She's 6, so she might like this. I mean, maybe I should keep it. It kind of looks nice, but that also might be the seltzer talking. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go and eat some food and chill, I guess, for the rest of the night. This was a pretty good Saturday night spent alone in my books, and thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for watching this video. I always appreciate every single one of you, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.